This week, celebrities took to the streets to protest the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. These celebrities are the finest America has to offer. Interpersonal saints, artists of heartbreaking genius, and they made the most of their moment in the sun to press forward the progressive vision for America, to decry the horrors of Judge Kavanaugh's supposed sexual brutality. Now, this is somewhat weird. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for higher standards in matters of sex. As a religious Jew, I was rather famously a virgin until my own marriage. But I have to admit, I'm kind of puzzled by Hollywood's sudden turn toward the traditional. I grew up in Hollywood. We actually filmed this show in LA. I have a number of good friends in the business. Suffice it to say, the city that brought the world the casting couch might not be the best source for moral guidance in politics. Boofing and the Devil's Triangle, as defined by Urban Dictionary, those are the least of the sins in this particular town. And it's particularly strange to watch as this particular coterie of celebrities climbs up on their pack of high horses to sneer at Brett Kavanaugh, a devout Catholic father of two who has been married for 14 years. Take Lena Dunham, for example. She showed up in Washington, D.C. to protest Kavanaugh. She tweeted, quote, "So many women I love are in D.C. today. They represent hundreds, thousands, and millions of other women. At this point, opposing Kavanaugh is not about a political party. It's about ensuring that women, people of every political party, are safe." Lena Dunham, you may remember her from HBO, she wrote in her own book about sexually abusing her younger sister. Here's what she wrote, quote, "As she grew, I took to bribing her for time and affection, $1 in quarters if I could do her makeup like a motorcycle chick, 3 pieces of candy if I could kiss her on the lips for 5 seconds, whatever she wanted to watch on TV if she would just relax on me. Basically anything a predator might do to woo a small suburban girl, I was trying," unquote. That is the mild stuff from Lena Dunham's book. An actress named Emily Ratajkowski claimed that she got herself arrested at the D.C. rally. She tweeted, "Today I was arrested protesting the Supreme Court nomination of Brett Kavanaugh, a man who has been accused by multiple women of sexual assault. Men who hurt women can no longer be placed in positions of power." You may not remember Ratajkowski, but she actually got her big start starring with Robin Thicke in his controversial hit Blurred Lines. But you're an animal, baby, it's in your nature. Just let me liberate you. You don't need no papers. The lyrics to that hit were deemed, quote, kind of rapey by many feminists. Why? Because here are the lyrics, quote, "Talk about getting blasted. I hate these blurred lines. I know you want it, but you're a good girl. The way you grab me, you must want to get nasty." Whoopi Goldberg showed up as well, and she had this to say on The View about Brett Kavanaugh.
The message to women is, we're not listening. That's the message.
That's a far cry from Whoopi's comments on child molester Roman Polanski just a few years back. Polanski, you'll remember, fled the United States after being arrested for giving a 13-year-old girl champagne and Quaaludes and then sexually assaulting her. Here was Whoopi's take on that fine gentleman a few years back.
He was not charged. I know it wasn't rape.
Yeah,
there is
a statutory
child molest, maybe. I'm not sure.
It was something. No? It was something else, but I don't believe it was rape. And when we get all the information, somebody will tell me in my ear. All I'm trying to get you to understand is when we're talking about what someone did and what they were charged with, we have to say what it actually was, not what we think it was.
It wasn't rape, according to Whoopi. But she's ready to destroy Brett Kavanaugh without any evidence at all. Whoopi's fellow panelist on The View, Joy Behar, was also fighting mad about Kavanaugh.
The message to boys is, if you become a powerful man, you are allowed to grope a woman.
So, if you become powerful, you get to grope women, according to Republicans. And also, according to Joy Behar, actually, it turns out she wasn't quite as angry when Al Franken was accused of sexually assaulting 8 different women by grabbing them or trying to kiss them without their consent. In fact, she called Franken a gentleman and defended him fulsomely.
Al Franken attacked him verbally. Jeff Sessions, he suddenly became the target of the right wing to get him out of office. And then Gillibrand, is that her name? She was out to get him also. And the Democrats decided, oh, we're going to take the high road. And they basically lost a really good senator, in my opinion. And, you know, the way I saw that photograph where he was putting his hands, pretending to touch them, which he didn't really touch them. That was a sophomoric joke by a comedian in a time when he didn't know he was going to become a senator. He was fooling around. He was a comic. Right. And to his credit, he said she didn't have any ability to consent. She had every right to feel violated by that photo. So he's a gentleman, and he took the hit.
Right.
And now, can we please move on and get the great senator back and get rid of the president?
Can we just please move on? These are just some of the celebrities who traveled to D.C., but many more didn't, and they were far from silent. Matt Damon showed up on Saturday Night Live in an interminable 13-minute sketch to mock Kavanaugh as an angry nut.
Let me tell you this. I'm going to start at an 11. I'm going to take it to about a 15 real quick.
But you will recall that Matt Damon came under fire from Me Too just last year for the great sin of recognizing a spectrum of bad behavior with regard to sexual misconduct.
I think I do believe that there's a spectrum of behavior, right? And and we're going to have to figure out, like, what, you know, there's a difference between, you know, patting someone on the butt and rape or child molestation, right? Both of those behaviors need to be confronted and eradicated without question, but they shouldn't be conflated.
Damon was actually right, but he was forced to apologize. And now that he's bent the knee before the radicals of the Me Too movement, he's back in the good graces and ready to attack Judge Kavanaugh with the enthusiasm of the newly converted. And of course, Alyssa Milano famously showed up at Brett Kavanaugh's actual hearing and then bemoaned his nomination, stating that men should be held accountable even if they aren't exactly guilty.
We will not be silenced any longer. And if that means that men have a hard time right now, then I'm sorry. This is the way the pendulum has to shift for us to have equality and security in our country and within our societal views of what it means to be a woman.
Weird, though, that Milano didn't seem quite all that upset about sexual misconduct by a Democrat back in 2012. Back then, she tweeted, quote, "Bill Clinton, I love you so much, like crazy amounts of love." You remember Bill Clinton? Soft Southern accent, credibly accused of a brutal rape by Juanita Broaddrick. She says he raped her and then told her to put some ice on that. You remember Bill Clinton? That was the guy credibly accused of sexual assault by Kathleen Willey. She says he grabbed her in the Oval Office, forcibly kissed her, groped her breast, forced her hand onto his genitals. Remember Bill Clinton, credibly accused of sexual assault by Paula Jones. She says he exposed himself to her and then told her to kiss it. Clinton paid her $850 grand to go away. Nice guy. Alyssa Milano loved him until she realized that she'd been called on it. This week, she determined that maybe, just maybe, Clinton should have been investigated too. How magically convenient. By the way, Alyssa Milano was actually on Meet the Press this week for her noted expertise in America's Pope. Jimmy Kimmel sounded off against Kavanaugh as well.
Hear me out on this. So Kavanaugh gets confirmed to the Supreme Court. Okay. Well, in return, we get to cut that pesky penis of his off.
I seem to remember someone else who had some trouble controlling himself around women. His name was Jimmy Kimmel.
This game show is called Guess What's in My Pants. Now, I've stuffed something in my pants, and you're allowed to feel around on the outside of the pants. You have 10 seconds to then guess what is in my pants. You ready?
Set.
Go.
It looks like
You should use two hands. Two hands.
Now listen, true sexual misconduct should be called out by anyone and everyone. This isn't a call for Hollywood celebrities to double down on their own excesses or to justify the evil behavior of others. But it is a reminder that the sudden willingness to believe decades-old allegations against Brett Kavanaugh is kind of convenient from a group of people who gave Roman Polanski an Oscar and spent decades celebrating Harvey Weinstein.